Your Majesty, Excellencies, Malaysia is deeply concerned with the rising number of COVID-19 cases in our region, as ASEAN has witnessed a rapid escalation of infections in the past few weeks. Globally, the situation is just as bad, if not worse. Undeniably, Malaysia is not spared from the ravages of COVID-19. In our efforts to fight against the coronavirus, we have put in place several key strategies to address critical health, economic, and social issues brought about by the pandemic. Just 1 month ago, on the 16th of March, my government decided to impose a Movement Control Order, the MCO, which directed the closure of non-essential government and private sectors, a prohibition of mass movements and gathering, and a strong advice for Malaysians to stay at home. In addition, Malaysia has also mandated all our citizens returning from abroad to undergo a compulsory quarantine for 2 weeks. On screening and testing, we are aggressively increasing our capacity to conduct even more tests per million capita, followed by rigorous contact tracing and treatments to all patients, regardless of their levels of symptoms and illnesses. I understand that more tests may result in higher reported infections, but it is needed to ensure we swiftly detect and treat those infected. As of yesterday, our mortality rate stands at 1.6%, as compared to the global average of 6.1%. And this pandemic is about saving lives and making sure our Malaysians who are infected get the appropriate treatment and recover fully. On that note, we have provided much needed support to our Ministry of Health by approving 1.5 billion ringgit for them to increase the capacity in screening and further intensify treatment for those infected. And this will help in obtaining more test kits, ventilators, and personal protective equipment. In every crisis lies an opportunity, and Malaysia foresees that ASEAN, as a regional bloc, must work together post-COVID-19. All our nations are facing similar complications, and we must work together to ensure no one is left behind. Looking ahead, Malaysia would like to propose that our economic ministers have an immediate discussion to begin shaping an ASEAN economic recovery plan, which focuses not just on the financial aspects of our economies, but also on social welfare, safety nets, food security, and education for our peoples. The ASEAN Economic Recovery Plan must include measures we as a region will undertake to address issues directly faced by our more than 600 million citizens, to preserve supply chain connectivity, the smooth flow of essential medical, food, and essential supplies, and ensure critical infrastructure for trade and trading routes via air, land, and sea are preserved and remain open. We must also guard against the imposition of unnecessary restriction on the flow of medical, food, and essential supplies. Malaysia also expresses its support for the establishment of the Covid-19 Asean Response Fund to expand the scale of existing emergency stockpiles for any future pandemics we may face as a region. We must further develop our regional reserves of medical supplies, as well as utilize relevant ASEAN reserve warehouses to support the needs of ASEAN member states in public health emergencies. The various ASEAN mechanisms and structures platform led by or hosted by Malaysia, such as the ASEAN Emergency Operations Center Network for Public Health Emergency, ASEAN EOC Network, and ASEAN Risk Assessment and Risk Communication Center, ARACRC, have proven that we are able to work swiftly in finding solutions to this crisis. Let me assure Your Majesty and Excellencies that Malaysia stands ready and resolute with ASEAN to combat this pandemic together. I am confident that with solidarity, vision, and leadership, we can unite and get through these dark times together. As a region, we have faced multiple crises before this, and I believe we will once again overcome this and emerge stronger than ever. God willing, inshallah. Thank you.